Hi everyone, I hope you are doing great. Welcome back to another video in our Python for Test Automation series. In today's video, we will explore one of the core features of Python named Python collections. In Python, collection is a single variable that can store multiple values of different data types. So the important aspects to consider here is a single variable that can store multiple values of different data types. If you have seen our earlier videos, so we have explored the variables that can only store one value at a time. For example, like name as test troop, age is 25. But in case of collection, you can store the multiple values in a single variable. For example, the values stored in the two variables like name and age can be stored into the single variable called as a user detail list like test troop, 25. In case of the list, the items are separated by the comma parameters. So for a better readability, you can also use another collection called as dictionaries, which is of type key value and pair, which gives more readability here. You can tell name colon test troop where the key is name and the value stored in that particular key is test troop and age colon 25. This is how you can store a multiple values into a single variable either using list or using dictionary. This makes handling the related data more efficient and organized. We will also see the different types of collection supported by the Python with its own unique features. Python provides 4 different collection types like list, tuple, set and dictionaries. They are distinguished based on 4 key properties. They are ordered. Are the elements stored in a different sequence? Mutable. Can the elements be modified after creation? Each of these 4 types, list, tuple, sets and dictionaries are collections. But what makes them different? Understanding these properties will help you choose the right collection type for your needs. Let us dive deeper into each one of them. They can be distinguished based on 4 key properties. They are ordered. Are the elements of the collection stored in a defined sequence? Mutable. Can the elements be modified after creation? Indexable. Can element be accessed using an index? Duplicate handling. Does the collection allow duplicate values? Let us start with list. List is an ordered, mutable and indexable collection that can allow the duplicate values. That means the elements in a list are stored in an order that it is created. They are mutable. Once the list is created, we can change the elements of the list. And indexable, each element in the list can be accessed via the index and you can have the duplicate values. Okay. In Python, lists are created. So you should have a variable name, then equals to, then start with the square bracket. This represents a list in Python. Well, this is basically an empty list. Okay, this does not contain any of the elements. Let us try to print this list. Now let us try to execute. So it is printing as the empty list. Okay, let's try to add few elements into the list like the fruits like apple. So each element is separated by a comma. So then banana, then you can add, I will copy from here as orange. This list has 3 elements like apple, banana and orange. Okay, and it says that it is an ordered. So when you try to retrieve the list, when you try to print the list, it will print in the same order that is being created. So let us check the ordered property. Let's try to print it. So it says apple, banana and orange. This is the way that we created a list, and we also retrieve the list using the same order. So lists are the ordered one. Now let us try to understand the indexing concept. The indexes are used to retrieve the elements from the list. If you see, in case of fruit list, we have three elements like apple, banana and orange. They are stored in a memory in a order they are created. So always the first element in a list can be accessed via the index 0. Always the index starts with 0, then the second element with 1 and third element with 2. Okay. So this particular list contains 3 elements. There is also a function in Python where you can find number of elements in a given collection using the length function. So this is called as a positive indexing, start with 0 till the last element in the list. Collections also support negative indexing. Negative index always starts with -1, that represent the last element in a list. Then it goes -2, -3 and so on to access the different elements in the list in a reverse order. Let us try to access the element of the list using the index. Let's start with the positive indexing. So it always starts with the 0. The 0 corresponds the first element in a list. 0 corresponds to apple here. Then 1 corresponds to banana and 2 corresponds to orange. Let us try to print this. You see apple, banana and orange. Let us try with the negative indexing. This will print the list in a reverse order. -2 and -3. -1 corresponds to orange, -2 corresponds to banana and -3 corresponds to apple. Let us try to execute this. You see the list got printed in a reverse order. Let us try to see how to slice the list. You can slice the list using the index. For example, I want to print only apple and banana. Then you can say I want to print from the index 0 to, that is a colon, till 2. Okay, I don't want to print orange, so I want to print up to 2. That is only the first two elements. Okay, 0 and 1. So it stops at as soon as it encounters the 2. That means it is going to print me only the two values, apple and banana. So let's try to execute this. You see, so we retrieved apple and banana, and if you extend up to 3, so I want to print 0, 1 and 2. So exclude after that. Exclude the element from 3 onwards, right? So let us try to execute this. It gave me apple, banana and orange. Similarly, we can give I want from 1 to 3. That is start with the 1, that is banana, and go up to 3. Don't include 3, but go up to 3. That is banana and orange. Okay. So let us see. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3. 3 will be excluded. After 3 it will be excluded. So it will print only banana and orange. It will print only banana and orange. And if you want to print cherry and date, then you can say 0, 1, 2, 3, 0, 1, 2, 3. So you can give it as 3, this is 4 and this is 5. So we can print up to 5. So it will print 3 and 4. Okay. So let us try to execute this. You got cherry and date. This is how you can slice a list and you can store this into another variable. For example, I can say that fruit list part equals to, and then if I print the list part, then it should give me only cherry and date. So this is how we can slice the given list and store a part of the list into another variable. So another way of accessing the list using the for loop. So you can use the for loop. The syntax is for fruit in fruit list. Okay, this will perform basically an iteration. So it will iterate over the entire list and try to pick each element and assign each element into fruit. So the spelling is wrong. Okay, then you have to have an indentation and try to print fruit. So each iteration it gets a value. For example, first iteration it gets apple and stores into fruit, and we are trying to print fruit. So second iteration it is banana, so it will print each element. Okay, it iterates over the entire list and try to print each element. Let us go and try to execute this. See, started with apple, banana, orange, cherry, date and berry. So let us make it as berry for simple understanding. So it prints all the elements in a list. You can also iterate over each element of list using a for loop and indexing. For that you need to know the length of the list. Python provides a function called length to identify a length of given collection. So we can have a variable called fruit list len equals to length of the fruit list. Here the value should be 6 because there are 6 elements in a list. Okay, so we can print this. Yeah, let us try to execute this. You see the value 6 here. So you can basically navigate or iterate over each element of a list using a for loop with an index. For index for that we will be using a range operator which will start with 0 and which will go up to the length of the list. Then we will try to print the fruit list with an index. The first time the index is 0, then it is fruit list of 0, that is apple. Second time 1, it will be banana, and so on. Let's try to execute this. You see, using the length and index and the for loop, you can also iterate over each element of a list. Now let us try to understand different ways of adding an element to a list. The first one is using a keyword called append. So this is using an append. And before that, let us try to see what are all the functionalities, what are the functions that we can perform with the list. For that we can use a function called dir. So let us do a print then dir of this particular variable. Then it says what are the operations that basically we can do with the list. There are a lot of functions. For example, so we can do an append, that is for appending using clear. You can clear, copy, count. Count is now counting the number of elements in a list. You can extend a list, you can index a list, insert, pop, remove, reverse, sort, all those things. So we will try to understand all these functions one by one. So the append is the first function that can be used to, that is basically used to append a list. So when you say list as a mutable, that means that the elements of the list can be changed after it created. So this can be done using an operator called append. Append always adds an element to the end of the list, but if you want to add an element in between somewhere, you will have to use a function called insert. So let us try to use this called insert. Insert takes two parameters. The first one is an index where the new element to be added and the value of the element. For example, if I want to add a melon in the index 1, that is after apple, then I can give it as 1 comma melon, right? So if I try to execute this, you see after apple the melon got added. Okay, this is how you can basically use an insert function to add an element anywhere in the list. Next method is called as an extend method. So using an append and insert, you could only append a single value at a time, but using an extend, you can add a multiple values. For example, I want to add date and berry to the fruit list, then I can use fruit list, then I have to use using extend keyword, then I will have to add a new list, and then I'll have to add an values. Okay, so this list will get extended with two more the values, but these values will be added at the end of the list. That means after cherry comes date and then berry. Okay, you see after cherry we added two elements called date and berry. So extend keyword is used to add number of elements to the list, but at the end of the list. So append, insert and extend methods are used to add an element to the list. Now let us try to understand what are the methods that we can use, methods or function that we can use to remove the elements from a list. The first method that we can use to remove an element using a pop method. Okay, so you can use a fruit list dot pop, that will always remove a last element in a list. Okay, so if I use pop, then berry will be gone if you don't pass any parameter. By default it always remove the last element in a list. So if you see, berry is gone. Okay, so if you want to remove a particular element, then you will have to give an index to the pop. For example, I want to remove apple from the list, then I'll have to pass an index as 0. Okay, let us try to execute this. You see apple is gone, only banana, orange, cherry and date and berry are remaining. So this is how you can use pop. Pop comes with two variation: without any argument, that means it removes the last element; with an index, it will remove the element from that particular index. The second function that we can use for remove is the remove itself. So we'll have to give dot remove, dot remove. This will remove a particular element, but you will have to pass a value. For example, if I pass as an orange, this will remove an orange from the list. See, orange is gone from the list. So another method to remove is the clear method. Clear will remove all the elements in a list. So no parameter to be passed. So when I try to execute this, you see now the list has become empty. It removed all the elements in a list. These are the methods like pop with parameter, without parameter, then the remove with the value, and the clear can be used to remove the element from a list. Now modifying the list, you can modify the list using an index. For example, if you want grapes instead of apple, then you can change using the index. Fruits of the apple is at index 0, so it should be replaced with grapes. So the apple will be replaced with grapes. You see, grapes, banana and orange, apple is been replaced here. If you want to print the list in a reverse order, you can use the reverse function like print. Sorry, I already have the print statement. Then I'll have to use a function called reverse. No parameter needed. So just okay, let us do this here and let us try to print a fruit list. You see, it printed the list in a reverse order. So next, sorting of the list. So you can use a sort function to sort the list in an alphabetical order. Okay, so if I give a sort, and then if I try to print, first it comes apple, then banana, I think, then cherry, or berry. For example, after banana, berry comes, and after that cherry comes, and so on. Let us try to print this. So if you see apple, banana, berry, cherry, date and orange, this is how we can use the sort function. It sorts based on the alphabetical order. And for example, if a list is of type number, for example, if it is number, then I have 1, then I have 4, then I have 6, then I have a 2, then I have a 3. Then if I give number dot sort, okay, then if I print a number, by default it will be in ascending order from 1 to highest number. You see 1 2 3 4 4 6, and I can also specify how the sorts should be. So you can also specify like reverse equal to true. That means it will be in a descending order. The biggest number will be printed first, then it goes to the next number, and so on. The last number that it will print is the smallest number. So here the order is changed: 6 4 3 2 1. This is the two variation of the sort we can use. Sort without any parameter, this will be the default sort. Sort with reverse equal to true, that means it is in the descending order. Now we have two lists here, one is a fruit and one is a number, and you want to merge these two lists. Okay, that you can do, or you can, if you want to combine these two lists, then you can do it as combine equals to fruit list 1 plus number. Okay, then we can print combine list. Try to execute this. The second list will be appended to the first list, but it will be always after the last element of the first list. You see, it got appended after the last element. This is all about list. We saw how to declare an empty list, how to add an element to the list, how to remove the elements from the list, how to modify the list content, and so on. Okay, so in a list we saw that list is an ordered, mutable, indexable, and it can allow the duplicate values. So I did not demonstrate the duplicate values. Let us go and do that as well. So I will remove that. So we saw ordered. So ordered means the way it is created in the same order you can basically retrieve it. Mutable, we can change the list using an append, extend, insert. And indexable, you can also access the elements of the list using an index. Now I try to show the duplicate values. So you can have a same value in a list. For example, I can have apple 2 times in a list. Okay, when I try to print, so list allows the duplicate values. So it stores the duplicate value. So it does not basically perform a check whether I already have an element called apple. So it allows the duplicate values. This is about list, and these are all the properties that are associated with the list. Now let us understand another collection variable called tuple. Tuples are an ordered, immutable, and indexable collection that allows the duplicates. So only difference between a list and tuple is immutable. That means once it is created, you cannot change the content of a tuple. Let us try to see how to create a tuple. So tuples can be created with the variable name equals to the bracket like this. It will create a tuple, and you can print a tuple. This is basically an empty tuple. This is an empty tuple, and you can also try to see print type of. Let us see what it gives. It gives a classes tuple. Similarly, if you have, for example, here, right? So this is a fruit which is a list. So I can also, sorry, yeah, so this is wrong. So I will have to use here, 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 here. So if I try to print the type of fruit list here, it should give me class as a list. Okay, here it is class as a tuple. This is how you can create an empty tuple. Now let us try to add an elements to the tuple at a time of creation, and if you print, so you can retrieve in the same order that is being created. That is why you say that tuple is an ordered collection. So now let us try to access the elements in a tuple. You can access the elements in a tuple using an index, right? So for example, it's the same. It also supports both the positive and negative indexing. For example, fruit tuple of 0 should give me an apple. You see, it will give me a value as an apple, and if I try negative indexing, which starts with a -1, it will give me the last element. So this is an orange. Okay, this is how using an index you can access an element of a tuple. A tuple can also have the multiple different types. For example, here all the elements are of type strings, but you can also add a number like 1, 2, 3. So you can also try to print a tuple. It also supports mixed data type. Okay, for a time being I will remove this. You can also use slice here like what we did with the list. So let us try to add more elements, maybe like cherry, comma date, comma berry. Okay, and I want to create a subtuple that should have only cherry, date and berry, and for that we can slice it from the index. It is 0, 1, 2, 3. I should start from 3, then this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I will have to queue up to 6. Then I will print subtuple and see what it gives. So it gave me cherry, date and berry. This is how basically you can create a subtuple using the main tuple and giving a slicing parameter, that is the index start with and index end with. So we can also iterate to the tuple using a for loop. For example, for in fruit tuple. So for, sorry, the syntax is wrong. For fruit in this particular tuple, and then print fruit. So this loop iterates over each element of a tuple and try to assign to the fruit, and then we are printing it. So we can also use an indexing operator, and for that indexing with for that you need to know the length of the tuple, that you can get it from a function called length that gives you the length of the tuple. You can also use print length of the tuple here, and then you can remove this. There should be 1 2 3 4 5 6 elements. This is 6. I'll also remove this, and after that what we can do is we can use a for loop with an index, for index in range that starts with 0, and that should end with sorry, and that should end with the length. Then I'll have to print the tuple with an index, with an index, and then I have to close this bracket. So let us remove this, try to do this. Sorry, I have made some mistake here. This is not the variable, this is a variable. See, so you can see now. So we can able to iterate over each element of the tuple using the indexing and with the help of a for loop. Now let us try to see the immutable property of a tuple. Okay, for this what we can do is we will try to change the element of a tuple. Like for example, I want to change apple with melon. You should not allow this because already you see there is an error. So we'll try to execute this and see what happens. See, the tuple object does not support item assignment. Okay, this is because it is immutable. We cannot change the content or an element of the tuple once it is created. In that way it is very safe actually. The tuple also allows duplication. For example, you can also add apple here, and you can print a tuple. You see, it handles the duplication. It does not support the duplicate check. You can add the same element any number of times that you want to. Now let us try to see how to combine the two tuples. I will remove apple from here, and I will add another one called as numbers, and it will be like 1, 2, 3. Then we can have combine that is equals to tuple plus numbers. We'll have to use the plus operator here. Then if I try to print combine, you should contain the fruits along with the numbers. It is appended it will shown at the end basically. This is how basically you can combine two tuples. Now let us try to see how we can count the occurrence of particular element in a given tuple, and for that tuple basically provides a function called you can use a print, then tuple called, I think the function is count, then you'll have to pass a value as an apple. And if you see, it says that apple has occurred 2 times. If you again add an apple in between, it should show me 3 times. Okay, this is how we can use the count function. Now let us try to see what are the functions or methods that is provided by a tuple. For that we will have to use a keyword called dir and then pass the tuple, and if you come to the end and you see here it gives an count, it gives an index. Index is basically used to get an index. Let us try to use that. So for a time being, let us use print the tuple dot index of apple. It always returns the first occurrence. Okay, it always returns the first occurrence of the apple. Yeah, so that is, I think this is 0. Here it should give me an answer as 0, and if I give it as orange, it will give it as 0, 1, 2. So it will be 2. The value will be 2. So this is how we can use the index operator. Then we used count. Then yes, these are only the functions that are exposed here that we can use it. So length function we used. Yes, then count and index. So we covered all the functions that are exposed by the tuple. We saw that tuples are immutable, but in some cases you may have to change the value of the element in a tuple. So in such cases there is a workaround. So you will have to convert the tuple into a list. So tuple into a list, then you can convert this using a function called as a list. Then you will have to pass the tuple as a parameter to this function. So basically the list function will convert a tuple into a list. If you're using a list, you can basically change an element because they are mutable. So let us see what it gives now. Print this particular list, then it should basically give me the list. This is how basically we can convert a tuple into list, and then we can play around with the elements of a list. So you can modify them and we can remove them. All the operations that we performed with the list can be performed here. Okay, but you cannot change you cannot add and remove the element of a tuple once it is created. That is why it is called as an immutable collection. Let us try to explore sets. Sets are an unordered, mutable and unique collections that does not allow any duplication. Sets are unordered. That means the elements of the sets are not stored in the same order that they are created. In Python, you can create a set variable with the variable name equals to the flower bracket, inside which you can add the values. I'll simply copy paste this, and then I'll try to print this set. So here you can observe two things. One is it will not be displayed in the same order that the sets are created. That means sets are unordered. Second thing is it will not allow you to store the duplicate. That means here I have the 3 occurrences of apple. So while printing, it will only show 1 occurrence of apple. Let us go and try to execute this. And you see here we have berry, we have orange, we have apple, cherry, banana and date. And apple we have 3 occurrences, but while displaying it has shown only one occurrence. That is one of the properties of set, that it does not allow any duplication. Another thing is we have created a set with an order like apple, banana, orange, but while displaying it shows in a different order. That means the elements of the sets are unordered. Okay, they are not stored in the same order that it is created. They are mutable as well. That means you can delete or you can add the elements to the set once it is been created. Unlike the list and tuples, set do not support indexing because they are unordered. You cannot directly access an element using an index. Since you cannot access the element of a set using the index, the only way to access the element of a set is using the for loop. Using a for loop, you can iterate over the elements of the set and print them one by one. A fruit in the set, then you can print a fruit. Here for loop iterates over each elements of the fruit set and stores in a fruit variable, and then basically we are printing the fruit variable. Let us try to execute this. You see the first statement, the outcome is coming from this print statement. Then you can see the for loop iterates over each elements of the fruit set and try to print the elements. For this you have to take the set variable, then use the function update, then you will have to pass the list of items like this, and instead of it I will add it as grapes and nuts. Now let us try to execute this. If you see, you have grapes, apple, berry, cherry, banana, orange, date and nuts. So the grapes and nuts are the two elements that we have added. In this way you can also add the multiple elements into the sets. Now let us see how to remove a particular element from a set. In order to remove a particular element, you will have to use the function variable with the function remove, where you have to give the element. For example, I want to remove an orange, then I will have to pass orange as a parameter. So let us try to execute this. See, in the set we don't see orange. Orange is removed using the function remove. Remove function throws an error in case a particular element is not found. For example, if I try to remove something called nuts from the fruit set where we don't have a nuts, right? Where we don't have an element called nuts. In case if you're trying to remove that particular element, then Python will throw an error. For example, it says that key error, it could not find nuts. So in order to overcome that, there is another function called as discard. With the discard, you can try to remove an element that is not available. If that particular element is not available, then Python will not throw any error. If that particular element is available, then it will remove from the set. Let us try to execute this. So you see, there is no error operation that is being done. So if I try to remove an orange now, so it will remove an orange. Okay, if the element is found, then it will remove. If the element is not there, then it will not throw any error, unlike the remove function. There is also another function to remove an element, which is called as an pop. Which removes an random item. Okay, we don't know which element it is going to remove, but it is always removes the random item. So let us try to execute this. So in this case we have berry, we have cherry, and I think it has removed a banana. So let us execute again. So now it will remove another element. Now banana is present, it has removed, I think orange is also there, cherry, it has removed the date. If I again execute, it removes the some other element. So it is we really don't know which element it is going to be removed. We also have another function called as clear, which removes all the elements. Okay, so let us try to execute this. If you see, the set is empty, so we have an empty set here actually. So it removed all the elements from the set. The two important operations that you can perform with the set are set union and set intersection. The unions are the combination of two sets. It combines the two sets and takes only the unique elements from each of these sets. Whereas the intersection will only give a set with the common elements. Let us try to understand this with the help of an example. Let us try to perform an union operation. For this, I will have another variable called fruit set A, which has got apple and banana in common, and then I will add grapes and then nuts, and I will remove the dates and berry. So if I try to perform the union operation can be performed using the OR operator or the function called set union. Okay, so you can also do like print set A OR operator. This is an OR operator, and set A. So when I try to print them, it will print the combination of the two sets, keeping only the unique values. Okay, let us try to execute this. So here I have an apple, here also I have an apple, here I have a banana, here I have a banana. So it will remove the duplicates and it will have only apple, banana, orange, cherry, date, berry, and grapes and nuts. This is what it is being displayed here. So another way of doing the union is, so what we can do is a print, then we can take a first set, then we can use a function called union, then you can use a function called union. You'll have to pass a parameter as another set. Okay, this performs the union operation and it will give the combination of two sets, removing the duplicates. This is how union works. And similarly, you can also perform an intersection operation. Intersection is basically using an AND operator. So you can use then here the common elements are apple and banana. So this operation will print us apple and banana. You see, it is going to print only the common element. You can also do this with the help of a function called intersection, and you have to pass the another set. So here you have apple and banana, which are common. It should print apple and banana. This is how union and intersection operations works with the set. There is one more function called as the difference, which basically prints the elements which are there in the first set and not in the second set. Okay, so let us try to do this. So for that I have to use set 1 dot difference of set 2, then I have to close the bracket. So it will print whatever the values that are part of set 1 which is not present in set 2. So set 1 and set 2 has commonly apple and banana, but orange, cherry, date and berry are only present in set 1. It is not present in the set 2. So it is going to basically print us the orange, cherry, date and berry. That is what the difference is. So it is going to print date, orange, berry and cherry, because these elements are only present in a set 1 which is not present in a set 2. The difference is always calculated like which is present in the first set, not present in the second set. Dictionaries. Dictionaries are the collections. They store the data in a key value pair. They used to be unordered in the earlier version of Python, but in the later version, that is 3.7 and above, they are ordered and they are also mutable. And one thing that we need to remember in case of dictionary is the key must be unique. The syntax for creating a dictionary is the variable name, then equals to, then you will have to open a flower bracket and you have to close the flower bracket. Then you will have to start with the key. Here the name is a key, then colon and the value, followed by a comma. Then if you want to add more elements, you will have to add by using a comma. Then again you will have to give a key and a value, then again a key and a value. So dictionary basically stores and data in a key value pair. Let us try to print this dictionary. I am using a higher version of Python. I am using the version which is greater than 3.7. So in my case, I should be able to retrieve the dictionary in an ordered form, the order in which it is created. Let us go and execute this. You see, it's displaying in the same order that it is been created. Accessing the elements of a dictionary. The element of a dictionary can be accessed using a key. If you want to access the value New York, then you will have to use a key as city. The syntax for this is open. You should open a bracket and then you should pass a key as an argument here. Then if I try to execute this, you see it's giving me the value that is stored in the key called city. Similarly, if you want to access a value 25 which is stored in a key age, then you will have to pass this key. Then you see it retrieved 25. This is how basically we can access a value that is stored in the dictionary. One of the disadvantage of accessing a dictionary element using this method is this method will throw an error if the particular key is not available in a dictionary. For example, if I use fruit here and the key fruit is not available in this dictionary, if I try to execute it, it will throw me an key error. So in order to access the dictionary element safely, the Python provides a function called as get that can be used along with the dictionary variable. So you'll have to use dot operator, you'll have to type get. Now you'll have to pass the key. It should retrieve me 25, and if I put it as fruit, this will give me a value as none. It's telling that this particular element is not present in the dictionary. See, instead of none, if you want to assign a default value, if a particular element is not present in a dictionary, if you want to print a value as 0, then you can pass another parameter to the get function as what default value it has to present, right? For example, I can also give it as a string as not found. Let's try to execute it. It says it is not found. Or I can also give an integer telling that if it is 0, that means it is not found. So whatever the value I pass it as a default value, it will print if the key is not present in a dictionary. Python provides the functions like keys, values and items to basically retrieve the keys and values from a given dictionaries. Keys will retrieve the keys from a given dictionary. Values will retrieve the corresponding values from a given dictionary. Items will retrieve both the keys and values. So let us try to use this. So you can use this with the help of the dictionary variable. Then you will have to type keys, and without any parameter, if you try to print, it will give you a list with all the keys. Here if you see, name, age and city are the keys. Similarly, if I give values instead of keys, this basically will display all the values like Alice 25 and New York. And if I use item, it should basically give me key and value both. It gives as a tuple. It gives a list of tuples with the key value pair, and the first element will be name and the value is Alice, age and 25, city and New York as a array of tuples. This is very useful, using which you can basically iterate over a given dictionary. Okay, let us do that. Using the keys, let us try to iterate over each element of a dictionary and retrieve the value that is stored in a key. And for this, you will have to use a for loop. For key in dictionary dot keys, then you will have to use print and dictionary, then you will have to pass key here. So this basically this function will iterate over a dictionary and try to get a list of keys. At each time the keys will be, one key will be stored in key. For example, for the first time name will be stored in key, second time age will be stored, and third time city will be stored in a key, and then using this key you can retrieve the value. So you can also use a formatted print, like we can give it as F, and then you can bring it like this. I think this has to go out, and then you can say the key is colon key and value is colon value that is stored in that particular key. The key is, sorry, you will have to give it in the yes, key is name and value is Alice, key is age and value is 25. This is how basically you can use keys to iterate over a dictionary and try to print the value that is stored in a particular key. Now let us try to modify the values that are stored in a particular key. To do that, you will have to use a variable, then you will have to pass the key, and you can give a new value. As instead of Alice, I will give test troop. Let us try to execute this, and now we'll have to use a print statement. Print my dictionary. You see, the value initially was Alice, then it is overwritten by the new value called test true. In this way you can change in this way you can change the value of one key at a time. If you want to change multiple values, then you will have to use an update function. Let us use update function. Update function has to be used along with the dictionary variable. Then I'll have to call update, and we'll have to pass a parameter as a dictionary that we want to change. For example, if I want to change these two values, so I will have to give the two values that I want to change. Basically, instead of name here, I can give it as test true, and age I will change to 30. So in one go we can change the multiple values using the update function. Let us go and execute this. See, name is changed to test true from Alice and age is changed to 30 from 25. This is how you can use the update function. Now let us check how to remove an item from a dictionary. For this you can use a function called pop dot pop. Here you have to specify the key that you want to remove. For example, I will give it as city. Then it will remove this particular key value pair from the dictionary. So now we have only 2 items. Python provides another function called as pop item. So let us use that function. Python provides another function called as pop item. This function pop item does not take any parameter. This is going to remove the last element that is inserted into the dictionary. In our case, this is city. Let us go and execute this. So if you see, it has removed the last inserted element into the dictionary. If you want to delete the entire list, then you can use a function called clear. This will delete all the content in a dictionary and leaving out the empty dictionary. See, the dictionary is empty now. We have already seen how to iterate over a dictionary using keys, and we also seen that Python provides the 3 important functions like keys, values and items, which are very useful to retrieve an element of an dictionary. Using these 3 keywords, you can also iterate over the entire dictionary. The key already we have seen, but still we will use it with the for loop. For key in my dict dot keys, then we'll have to give print key. This will give the key, and if I put print of a key, this will give the value. Let us go and execute this. If you see, the key is name and value is Alice. Okay. Similarly, we can also use values, value in values. Then you can directly print the value. Then it will only retrieve the values from the dictionary. So it printed Alice, 25 and New York. If you want both of them, then you can basically use items. Then you will have to give the 2 parameter key comma value. You have to give key comma value, key comma value in my dict dot items. So we have seen the items basically returns an array of tuples, and each values in tuple will contain the 2 values, right? For example, so let us comment this, and if I see a print of my dictionary items, this will print me an array of tuples. So tuple contains 2 elements, the key and a value. So when I trying to iterate over a dictionary using an item, it retrieves me a tuple with 2 values, and that 2 values I am unpacking and storing in 2 variables, key and value. So then I'll remove this, and I can use the format F and close the bracket. Then I can give key, then I can give a space here, and I can give a value. Let us try to execute this. You see, name Alice, age 25, and city is New York. So this is how we can retrieve both the keys and values using items function. Now we will perform certain operations with the dictionaries, like check a particular key is present in a dictionary or not. For that you will have to use in operator. For example, you can check print the key name in the dictionary. Okay, this will basically checks whether a key by name is available in a dictionary called my dictionary. Okay, similarly you can also check if a key by name age is present in a dictionary by name my dictionary. Let us go and execute it. It should give me true, and for example let us try with fruit, which is not present, then it should give me a value as false. This is how we can check whether a particular key or a particular key is available in a dictionary or not. Now let us try to merge the two dictionaries. For this I will create another dictionary as 0, and I will add company colon test troop, then position as test engineer, position as test engineer. I want to combine two dictionaries, then I can use my first dictionary dot update with the second dictionary, then I can print my first dictionary. Second dictionary, the values in the second dictionary got updated to the first dictionary. Now the first dictionary contains its original value and the values from the second dictionary. Let us try to print this. You see, so you have company test troop and position test engineering. So latest version of Python is also allows an OR operator to merge the two dictionaries. So let us use new dict equals to my dict with the OR operator, my dict 0, and now I will try to print my dict. You see, it should have the values, it should have the elements from both the dictionaries. See, using the OR operator you can merge the two dictionaries. This happens only on a higher version of Python. I think it works from 3.9 and above. Now copying the one dictionary into another dictionary. For example, if I want to copy the content of my dictionary into the new dictionary, so you'll have to use my dictionary dot copy. So this will copy the content of the dictionary by name my dict into the new dictionary. Let's try to execute this. So the new dictionary has the content which is same as the my dictionary. This is how the copy function uses. There are two types of copies. One is called as a normal copy. Another one is called as a deep copy. The deep copy is really needed when we have the nested. Okay, when we have the complex dictionaries. Yeah, so then we can basically use the deep copy. This slide shows a comparison matrix for different collections in Python. So if you take a parameter as order, then the lists are ordered. That means they basically we can retrieve the elements of a list in the same order that it is being created. Similarly, it is also true for tuple. So but in case of set it is unordered. But dictionaries, for a higher version of Python, the dictionaries are ordered, but in a lower version, that is lower than 3.7, they are basically unordered. Mutability, the lists are mutable, so once it's created you can change the value. Tuples are immutable, you cannot change the tuples. Sets are mutable, and dictionary is also mutable. We can basically change the value of a particular key, but keys are immutable, we cannot change the keys. Duplicates, duplicates are allowed in list, tuple and in dictionary, but in sets duplicates are not allowed. Indexing, yes, list supports indexing, tuple also supports indexing. Set does not support indexing because it is unordered, and dictionary basically supports using the keys. You can access the elements using the keys. Access type is by index, and by a value. So you'll have to give a value to retrieve it, or you can also iterate via the loop, and here in case of dictionaries it is by the keys. Use cases, it is used for a dynamic data. Tuples are used for fixed data. Set is used for the unique elements, and dictionaries are basically used for mapped data such as lookups. And the syntax is the lists will be within the brackets, tuple is within this bracket, set is using the flower brackets, and dictionary is using the flower bracket with key and value pair. It's a time for an hands-on exercise. Let us build a simple shopping cart. We will ask the user to enter an item, its quantity and price. Then we will display the shopping cart with all the items and generate an invoice. This will allow us to handle multiple items dynamically. Let's try this out. So first thing what you need to do is you'll have to ask the user to enter the what item he wants to add it to the shopping cart. This can be done using Python's input function. You can pass a parameter as a prompt, like enter the item to be added to shopping cart. You can give the space here, and since user is going to add multiple items, so you'll have to call this particular the input function inside the loop. And also we don't know how many items to be added, so we cannot basically use the for loop. In such cases you will have to use the while loop with the condition as true. With the condition as true, then we can ask the user to enter as many items to be added to the shopping cart. If I keep this while loop like this, it will run into an infinite loop, right? It will turn into an infinite loop. This is because we are always the value true is true, right? This is always be true. So somewhere we need to break this particular statement. For that we need to ask the user to enter some keyword, for example like done, when he finishes his shopping. So let us do that. The done value, like we can take from here and give like enter done once the shopping is done. So here we can highlight the done with double quotes. So this has to be done with an escape character slash like this, and then this is how we can escape, and we can add the double quotes. So let us then we'll have to use an if condition here. If done value equals to done, then you simply break the loop. Simply break the loop, right? So we have one problem here. The user may enter the done as a capital N, one of the letter as like this, right? He can enter like this, or right, he can also enter like this, or completely he can enter done in caps. So in order to overcome that, what we can do is whatever the data that we get it from the user, we will try to convert into the lowercase here, and then we do the comparison. Then this comparison basically passes in irrespective of the way how the user inputs the keyword. Okay, let us try to execute this and let us see how it works. So item to be added to the shopping cart is apple. I am not yet done. Then I can give it as nuts. Yes, now I am done. So it will come out of the loop. So we will also give a space here, colon and space, for a better clarity. Okay. So the second thing is this part is working now. Now we'll also have to ask the user to enter the quantity and as well as the price for each quantity. Quantity equals to input, enter the number of items that is added to the shopping cart, number of item that is added to the shopping cart. Second thing is we'll also have to have a price, that is enter the price, enter the price for the item added to the cart. Okay, this makes things complete, but one thing to remember, the quantity and price are the numbers. So especially the quantity is always an integer. You cannot ask 2.5 or something like that. We will ask the number as an integer, and the price is a floating value. Let us convert them into the floating and integer, because the input is always stores the value as a string. So you'll have to convert them into proper format to work on them. So quantity is an integer, that is why I am typecasting with integer, and a price is float, that is why I am typecasting with float. Okay, now we are ready. Let us try to execute this, and so we can also try to print all of them. Okay, so if you want, we can print in a single statement with the format. And here I can add item, quantity, and here I can add a price. Let's try to execute this. Shopping cart is apple 2, it is 0.5, then not done, again nuts, I am buying 2 kilos and each kilo costs 3 euros. Now I am done. See how it prints. So we are also printing it. Okay, this part is working fine. For a time being, I will comment this statement. Now I will have to basically store these values. So in order to calculate the total price, because I will also have to basically print. Basically, I will also have to print the items, and also their I will also print the item, their quantity, and their price. At the end of that, I will have to print the total price to be calculated, right? So in order to do that, what I will do, I will try to store them in a list. Okay, I will call this list as an item list, or better than that, what we can do, we can use a dictionary as an shopping cart. As a dictionary we can initialize like this, and this dictionary will have the serial number as a key, and we can give it as a serial number which is serial number which is basically always starts with 1, and then you can give shopping cart of the serial number is a key is equals to, then we can add a list item having item comma quantity, then comma a price. Okay, then we'll have to make serial number equals to serial number plus 1, and here we can print, yeah, once the loop is done, that loop ends here. Now I can basically print shopping cart, right? So let us do this. Apple 2.5 nuts shopping cart 2 kilos which is 6. I am not yet done. Again I can add grapes. I'll buy 3 kilos, then each one is 6 euros. Now I am done. So this is how the dictionary is stored. Each dictionary has 3 items now, each with the list containing the item, its number of items, now quantity, and the price for each item. Okay, now using this basically we can calculate the total price. Total price is equals to 0. Then you can take total price equals to total price plus the quantity, then quantity multiplied by the price. So at the end we can also print total price. Okay, let us try to execute this. Again, apple number of 3, each is 2 euros. Not done. I will take banana. I'll buy 5 bananas. Each banana cost 0.2 euros. Then it is not yet done. I'll buy some nuts. Each, okay, 3 kilos, each is 6 euros. Now I am done with my shopping. See, total I will have to pay 25 euros. So we can also give a little bit of good formatting. So what I can do basically, so in order to do that, I will have to iterate over the dictionary, which can be done using for key in dictionary dot keys. Okay, this will basically give me the keys. Okay, the whatever the value that is stored in a particular key. If I try to take this here, then it will be a list. So I'll basically unpack them into 3 items, like, because list contains 3 items, equals to something like this. Okay, basically I am iterating over this particular dictionary. The dictionary contains the keys. For example, when the key value becomes 1, this will give me a list like this, and from the list I am unpacking these variables. Okay, I am storing them into 3 variables like item, quantity. This is quantity actually, quantity. So I will change here, I will change here, I will also change here. Okay, so I am okay. So 3 variables, apple goes to item, 3 goes to quantity, and 2 goes to price. Now I have these values, and now I can basically print them. So let us print. So first let us put an header like print with the formatted printing. First comes item, then I can give, I can give a tab, again I can give a tab, then I have a quantity, I have a quantity, I have a tab, I have a tab, then I have a price like this, and now I will have to print in a same way. So here I have to also give serial number, right? Serial number, then I will have to give, so I will take is not slash t, this is t, again I have to give another t, and just take here and I will come here, then I will have to have a, again I will have to take the serial number equals to 1 here, then serial number equals to serial number plus 1. I have to give the serial number instead of here, I have to give that here. So I will remove this, I will give as an item here, then I will remove this, I will give a quantity here, then I will remove the price here, and I will give a price here. Okay, then every time or with a loop it iterates and it tries to print the serial number 1 2 3 4 like that and an item. Okay, let us try how it works, and we can also give like formatted print. We can give like this, telling that your total price is this one. Let us check, hope it works. Let us try to execute. Take a breakpoint from here. Yes, this is apple, 2 euros or 1 euro per app. So I want to buy 5 apple, each cost 1 euros. Not done. I will also have to buy banana, that is 4 bananas with 0.2 euros. Then not done, again I have to buy some nuts, that is 6 kilos, each kilo is 5 euros. Now I am done with my shopping. You see here the serial number. So I bought 3 items, 1 2 3, apple, banana and nuts. Quantities are 5 4 and 6. So the prices, something is wrong here. It gave the see the quantities. Yes, this is correct. So I was thinking something is wrong. is correct actually. Quantity is 546 because it is stored in an array in that format, in the list in that format. So this is the total price that I have to basically pay. So hope you understood this program. That brings us to the end of this session. Today we explored Python collection and their properties. We learned about different operations that we can perform with them and also worked on our shopping cart exercise. I hope you enjoyed learning with me. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching.